Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP steals his daughter's inheritance. Will I be the butthole if I give a family heirloom belonging to my late wife to my adopted daughter? My late wife, Kate, passed away about 12 years ago. Kate's family has a family heirloom that has passed down several generations, starting from her great-grandmother, from mothers to their first daughters on their 18th birthdays. The heirloom isn't itself highly valuable in a financial sense, but the history makes it very valuable to the people in the family. I currently possess the heirloom after Kate passed away, and I always intended to give it to my daughter, Claire, on her 18th birthday. She's currently 16. I married my current wife about 8 years ago. My stepdaughter, Sarah, whom I have adopted and consider my own daughter, is 17 years and 11 months old. Her 18th birthday is 1 month away. My wife also adopted Claire, and we all consider each other to be one big family. My wife asked me to give the heirloom to Sarah on her birthday to continue the tradition. I was hesitant because I always intended to give it to Claire, who's Kate's only daughter, because this is what she would have wanted, and it's a continuation of the tradition. My wife countered that this belongs to our family now, and we should give it to our eldest daughter on her 18th birthday, and therefore it should be Sarah's. I told her that I do consider Sarah to be my daughter, but she's not Kate's daughter. This heirloom belongs to Kate, so it should go to Kate's daughter. My wife said that Claire is her daughter, not anyone else's, and my wife accused me of playing favorites, and told me that if I truly consider Sarah to be my daughter, then I'll do the right thing, and if I don't, then that means that I haven't really accepted Sarah to be my real daughter yet. I consulted my 25-year-old son, who I also had with Kate, and he told me that if I did this, he's going to walk from the birthday party, and he thinks that he won't be the only one to do so. He said that if I do this, I should be ready for severe consequences. He left in a very frustrated way. His argument in the end was that it isn't yours to give away. It was Mom's, and now it belongs to Claire. My wife thinks that my son is overreacting, and it's only due to his age and moving out that he's never bonded with Sarah like Claire and I have. So he doesn't consider Sarah to be his real sister. Otherwise, he'd be happy for her. My wife thinks that Claire would be happy about this, since she considers Sarah to be her big sister, and it'll bring the girls even closer together because Sarah will happily share it with Claire and then they'll both have it. So would I be the butthole if I did what my wife wants me to do and give the heirloom to Sarah? Oh my god, yes, OP! Yes! Yes, you would be the butthole! Are you kidding me? I can't believe your wife is putting you in this situation. This is so rude. Like, not only is she trying to claim something that she 100% has no claim over, but on top of that, she's blackmailing you through your relationship with your stepdaughter. She has the audacity to say that, oh, if you don't give us this heirloom, then clearly you don't really accept your stepdaughter as being your daughter. That's disgusting. And she says, oh my god, she said that Claire isn't Kate's daughter, she's her daughter? As if she's going to erase the relationship that your daughter had with her mom when she was still alive and just, become the replacement magically? Unfortunately, this story doesn't specify if Kate left a will, because if Kate left a will saying specifically that this heirloom should go to her daughter, then that will make you so much more of a butthole. But even in the absence of a will, it's very, very clear that Kate would have wanted that to go to her biological daughter, Claire. OP, I'm giving your wife 4 out of 5 buttholes. The emotional manipulation out of that woman is disgusting. OP, I'm giving you 2 out of 5 buttholes for even considering it. If you actually do that, then I'm giving you 4.5 out of 5 buttholes. Please do not rob your own daughter of her birthright. Okay, so down in the comments, things get really, really interesting. Okay, so as you might expect, OP got absolutely blasted, and everyone's calling him the butthole, saying please don't do it. And luckily, he says, okay, yeah, I get it, I shouldn't do it, I will give it to my actual daughter. But then OP says this, I already have a will with my children in it, even though my children own a lot more than I do. Kate came from wealth, and almost all of her money went to my kids, not me. Even the house that we currently live in actually belongs to my kids. Then someone replies, be prepared to get kicked out of your house if you do this. No wonder your son said severe consequences. And OP replies, I was thinking about that, and now that I think back, that's probably what my son meant. Someone replies, how long were you planning on living there? Is there a plan to leave the home eventually? OP says, my son always told me that I'll be welcome to stay there for as long as I want. But I've been planning to move out when Claire turns 18, although my wife wants us to stay. There's no final decision yet. Someone says, ha, your wife is a mooch, dude. And another person says, your wife is going to try to pressure Claire to stay or sign the house over. She's going to use the fact that she adopted Claire and is therefore the only mother Claire knows to pressure that poor girl into not just the house, but also sharing her inheritance. Thank God that it seems that everything is shared between Claire and her brother, so hopefully her brother will stand up for her just like he has with his heirloom. OP says, yeah, that part's never going to happen. About 5 years ago, my wife wanted us to sell the house so that we could buy a place that was our own rather than Kate's. But I resisted the idea, knowing that it wasn't mine to sell. And my son basically told her, it's not your house to sell, but feel free to move out. She dropped the idea. And someone says, wait, did she want to use the money from the sale to fund the new house? I'm confused as to why you would even need to sell the house to get a new home. OP says, yeah, we wouldn't have been able to buy a comparable house in size, luxury, and location on our own. So my wife's idea was to sell Claire's house so we could buy another one. Man, this is so bad. Someone replies, so your wife's idea was for Claire and her brother to sell their house and give you the money to buy another one? Oof. Sorry, OP, but this is sounding worse and worse. Like, she wanted to sell a house that your late wife left to her kids, even though technically it shouldn't make any financial difference in your ability to buy another house, since neither of you actually own this house, which presumably you're both living in rent-free. And OP replies, as bad as that sounds, yes. Oh my god, this got so much worse. OP, okay, OP. Your wife is literally trying to steal money from your daughter and your son. Literally. In fact, in my opinion, you guys might disagree with me on this one, but this is my opinion. I actually think that you are stealing money from your kids, because the fact that you're living there rent-free is literally taking money out of your son and your daughter's hands. The fair thing to do would be for you and your wife to get a house on your own. That way, your son and your daughter could either rent out the house and get passive income, or sell the house and get their inheritance money. Or, even better, your son could live there until your daughter turns 18 and then they can live there together. You are 100% taking advantage of both your son's and your daughter's inheritance right now, OP. If I were in your shoes, OP, I'd be paying my kids rent money. Because they should be getting rent money. And yeah, your son did say that you can stay there, which I appreciate, but technically he shouldn't be making that decision on behalf of his sister. Because even if your son is generous enough to let you live there for free, it's not really fair for him to assume that his sister is okay with it as well. So, man, this story is a mess. OP, your wife is terrible. She's not a good person. She is a money-grubbing, gold-digging mooch, and you made a huge mistake in marrying her. Man, don't you just love Reddit.com? The stories that we get here are just wild. Am I the butthole for holding my son's college fund hostage? I'm a 48-year-old guy, and I have a son who graduated from high school this year. My wife and I started his college fund the minute that we found out that she was pregnant. Since we make good money, like in the mid-six figures, his college fund currently has almost $400,000 in it. We've never told our son what to do with his life. We may have guided his decisions, as any good parent should, but since he was still young, we let him make his own decisions. We also never expected academic excellence or forced him into sports or artistic activities. Now that he graduated high school, he said that he didn't want to go to college. We said as long as he was sure, he could do whatever he wanted. He refused trade schools too. He also didn't want to work with us on our business. He said that he planned to use his college fund to start a business of his own. I said that I'll allow it if only he takes some business management, accounting, and law classes in the nearby community college. I said that I would pay them out of pocket and not from the college fund. And then I would expect a well-made business plan before I would give him the money, and my wife 100% agrees. But he called us buttholes for holding his college fund hostage to make him do what we want. We think that we're just doing our best to make sure that his business succeeds. So, am I the butthole? Okay, so going down into the comments, it looks like I'm actually going to disagree with the majority of people here. This, to me, feels like a no butthole situation. So on your side, OP, obviously, this is your money, this is your wife's money, it's in your guys' name. OP clarified that it's in their name. So, if you don't want to give that money to your son, then that's completely your prerogative. But then, on the other side of the coin, if your son grew up this whole time thinking that he had this college fund, then it's very reasonable for him to assume that this money is essentially his. And then he makes plans around the assumption that he's going to get this money, and then he doesn't get that money, so him being upset is pretty understandable. And also, you're making your son go to business management, accounting, and law classes at a nearby community college. I'm an entrepreneur myself, and those classes are completely useless to me. Completely. It would have been a huge waste of time and money for my business. There's millions of different businesses out there, so to assume that every business needs business management and accounting and law classes, it's just not accurate. So for him to say that you're trying to control him, yeah, actually, he's not really wrong there. What you're essentially saying, OP, is that you'll only approve of his business if it's like a conventional brick and mortar CEO, upper management employees type of business. But if he wants to be a real estate agent or a musician or a social media influencer, then he just wouldn't care about business management and accounting and law classes. They're just completely irrelevant. So I really do see both sides of the argument here, and I think both people are coming from a logical and understandable place. I think everyone gets 0 out of 5 buttholes. Man, this kid is getting blasted in the comments. People are calling him a spoiled rich kid. Look, I'm not trying to say give an 18-year-old $400,000. That's kind of nuts in any situation. But for all we know, all he needs is $5,000, $10,000 to buy the initial equipment he needs to start his business. So if that's all that he needs, then I really don't see any problem at all at giving him that money and letting him see if he can start his business. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm kind of biased here because social media is filled with 16-year-old multi-millionaires. So, I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I kind of have faith in the kid. Guys, am I wrong here? Let me know down in the comments if I'm way off base. I'm always on YouTube, so I'm used to seeing multi-millionaires at the age of 17 with millions of subscribers, so that's kind of normal for me. So maybe I'm out of touch. Am I the butthole for refusing to cook dinner for my stepmother and her guests after she's been refusing to let me eat the food that she cooks? I'm a 16-year-old boy. My dad married my stepmom just about a year ago. She doesn't want me to live there and wants me gone. I've insisted that I should stay because I don't want to live with my mom. Her husband is a piece of work. So as a result, she and I are always clashing. She announced last month that she wouldn't allow me to eat anything that she cooks or cook anything that she buys, and I should arrange my own food completely separately. Down to the ingredient level, including salt, because I'm not her problem to deal with. This is annoying, but anyway, I can handle it and I didn't want to act entitled, so I started buying and cooking my own food. We've been going on like this since then. Her sister had an accident a few days ago, and on the day of the accident, my stepmother texted me in the afternoon saying that she'd be bringing her sister's kids over and they'd arrive around midnight. She asked me to buy groceries and snacks and make a late dinner for them. I never replied to her and didn't do anything. I have to say that for a few hours, things didn't look good for her sister, and she had to go into surgery. It ended up being successful, and she'll thankfully make a full recovery. They came. She noticed there was no food and they were hungry, so she was angry at me, and I told her that it's not my problem to deal with. She said that I'm being a jerk, and I said it takes one to know one. She ended up ordering pizza. My dad told me that I was out of line, and I should have just done what she wanted me to do because it was an emergency. And I should have just done a favor for her because it would have gone a long way to improve our relationship. I told him that our relationship has always been hopeless because she hated me for no reason, so there's nothing I can do to make her hate me any less, and at this point, I've accepted it and I don't care anymore. He said that's not true, and now I'm grounded. Oh my god. Okay, OP, I've gotta take a break here, because I have to clarify to you that what's happening to you is straight up child abuse. Literally, it's child abuse. Parents not feeding their kids and using food as punishment is literally child abuse. And what really blows my mind about this is I'm Obviously, the stepmother's terrible. She's an evil stepmom. She's not going to feed a child under her own roof. But what blows my mind is that your dad not only allows this behavior, but he won't cook for you either, right? Like, why isn't he getting you groceries? Why isn't he cooking for you? And he says that it's your responsibility, the 16-year-old child, to repair the relationship, not the grown-ass adult woman. OP, if you're listening to this, I really want you to understand that I'm not hamming this up because I'm a YouTuber and I'm trying to be dramatic for views. This is literal child abuse, okay? It really actually is. Your stepmother is evil and your father is a piece of garbage. Please, please, please start planning your exit at the age of 18. Because based on this story, I'm pretty much convinced that the second your 18-year-old birthday comes around, you're out of the house. OP, you get a rock-solid 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your stepmother 3.5 out of 5 buttholes and your father 4 out of 5 buttholes. That was rSlash, Am I the Butthole? And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.